Hello, welcome to Beyond Grays and Stars, the horror and sci-fi movie podcast. Normally, each episode I have a guest on and we talk about a different horror or sci-fi movie, usually an older one from a franchise or comparing a classic movie with its remake. In this special edition, I'm just talking to one of my regular guests, Sam Williamson, who's been on several times to talk about various movies. We've just been to the Horrorfied Con in Crawley in the UK, and literally we just want to chat about it, let people know about it, let people know our thoughts. It's a relatively new con, it's only the second year, so we spent some time there, and this is just the conversation we recorded about it in the hotel room after. And we also talk about a couple of newer horror releases. It's not that often we talk about new films on the podcast, so this will be an interesting one, just something a bit different, and throwing you a bonus episode. Okay, it's 10 p.m. We're in a hotel room in Crawley and just been to the Horrorfied Con, the second one. Sam.
Hello.
So, yes, we're here and we're not putting a horror film on yet. We thought we'd just record a little something to tell you guys about this con. It's the second one, as I mentioned, and we went to the first one last year. And that was mainly to meet Robert Englund. It was a success, and
lovely guy,
amazing guy, and it's back this year. And Robert Englund is the main draw again. Sam, you're a massive Nightmare on Elm Street fan.
I am indeed.
Didn't meet him this year, but passed him a few times and went to one of the talks.
We saw him driving in as well.
Yes. Just your thoughts on Robert Englund as a actor and what he was like when you met him.
Well, he's a very, very charismatic man. Yeah. He obviously he's got a stage career behind him as well, and you can tell that when he's speaking to a crowd. Yeah. Just the stories he tells, he is a grand storyteller. Meeting him in person, he's just a lovely man. Just he's got a lot of time for everyone who comes to meet him. Yeah. Just overall, just a very friendly top bloke.
Yeah, and in the talks, when asked a question, he'll go on and tell a story for ages. He's the one person who, when he does a talk at these cons, doesn't need an interviewer. He comes on his own, and just talks away. And he's the sort of person I think, I don't know if he's done this in the past, but I'd pay just to have like an evening with, I went to one with Arnold Schwarzenegger not long ago where he's on stage for 2 hours talking about his interview. I think, but saying that Robert Englund is so passionate about his craft, what he does, still working non-stop. Probably hasn't got time for things like that.
Probably not, but that would be something I'd be interested in seeing as well.
Yeah.
I could listen to him talking for hours.
Yeah, and a film that you mentioned to him, and you mentioned it to Kane Hodder today.
I did. It was Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. It's an absolutely underrated film and not many people know about. It's basically, half of the film is a documentary about set in the world where Freddy, Jason, Michael are all actual people and actual historical events. It's about the upcoming new killer called Leslie Vernon, and it shows how he does everything and how he plans his killing sprees. And then the second half of the film all of a sudden just switches to straight slasher as they kind of show the plan and how it's actually happening. And I spoke to Robert Englund last year about it, and he said it's such an underrated film and that it never got a sequel. And I spoke to Kane Hodder today about it and got a chuckle out of him when I mentioned it, even though he's only in very, very briefly. He told me a really funny story that he was basically told, walk outside the Elm Street house, look at the camera, and he decided to ad-lib and go inside where he was greeted by the owner, who said, "What the hell are you doing in my house?" And that's when he realised, we don't have permission to go inside here.
Yeah. That's one thing I love about these cons. You can get up to people and have little conversations. They tell stories. You can tell them ones yourself. And we've done a lot of that today, or this weekend. And we got through all the people we really wanted to meet, as well as doing the talks. the talks I find really entertaining. These, if you're a sort of person who doesn't want to pay to get an autograph or to get a photo, at these things it doesn't matter. You can go along to the Q&As, which should last between half an hour to an hour, and they're all free, and you can just walk in. Like today was Robert England, and we saw Robert England.
We did. Lovely man, lovely talk.
Saw him do two last year. We went to both of them last year on both days. But today, it went really fast. It was chilled. But going back to the first day when we done most of the meeting and greeting, the first person I met was Katrina McCall, from most well known for her work in Italian horror. It was in Beyond, City of the Living Dead, and House of the Cemetery. 3 older films from 1980. She was originally a dancer, got into these Italian movies with Felci, the director, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm guessing you're not quite as aware of her work as me.
I'm not, no.
But for someone who isn't, what did you think of her Q&A?
I really enjoyed it. It was really interesting to see her perspective of how she got into the industry, how she how she done things her way.
Yeah.
It was really, really interesting talk.
And for someone who, I haven't looked up her age, and you don't ask a lady
No.
her age.
No.
But for movies that old, she'd be at least from 1980. So if she was 20 then, she'd be 60 now. I'm guessing she'd be mid-60s, but still enthusiastic about her work. Still working, she mentioned that. And she mentioned a film that I'd looked up but not seen. I can't remember the name of it, but I think it's the late 70s, before she got into horror, she made a French film based on a manga.
Yes. She was talking about that at length today.
Yeah, which looks like a period film. It looks really interesting. I'll look that up and hopefully give it a watch. And I just came across it when looking up the stuff. Nobody mentioned that she's in Hawk the Slayer as well.
Right.
A British sword and sorcery masterpiece. Have you ever seen it?
No, I haven't.
It's did you ever watch Space? There was the bloke in that. There's a little joke about it. But it's really cool to meet these people. And I find as well, that's why I asked you, when I've been to them and it's someone whose career I'm not that aware of, I still find some of the interviews fascinating. And that was cool that you enjoyed that as well. I went and spoke to her and got an autograph early doors when we first got there, and then I had a photo shoot with her. And while we were doing the photo shoots, they're kind of sort of talk about this if people haven't been. They are kind of just conveyor belt. You get your picture, you collect it, and whatever. But she stopped me and asked me if I travelled far. And when I said from Ipswich, she mentioned she got relatives there and seemed quite enthusiastic. And then the grumpy photographer got us to move on.
Yeah.
Should we talk about the grumpy photographer?
Yeah, he was very grumpy.
Very grumpy.
Very grumpy. Very grumpy man.
Yeah, there were a few different ones, and twice was very grumpy for reasons. But,
discount Ramon.
Yeah, he had a Ramon's cat, and probably a lovely man. Probably a very stressful day for him to be.
Probably to be fair.
Probably no worse than me at work with stressful customers. But also today, did you speak to Edra over?
I didn't know. I've seen her at a distance.
Yeah, she was really friendly. Now, someone who's popped up a lot in a lot of things. She was in not just horror. But I remember her in The Fifth Element, a smallish role with working with Chris Tucker. So I spoke to her about that for a bit. She sounds like she adored Chris Tucker and saying how that he was just a stand-up comedian then, and that's what broke him through and
to the mainstream, really.
Yeah, it's pre-Rush Hour and things like that. But more recently, she was in the TV show Sex Education. She's been in The Acolyte, Interview with a Vampire. But I most know her from Resident Evil, where she played in the first one, where she plays Miss Black.
Yes, that's how I recognised her.
Which is a role only in that film, but there's flashbacks, I'm sure, in the other ones to those scenes.
Honestly, can't remember.
Weirdly, the Resident Evil films, when the first few came out, I was a bit of a film snob and even a horror snob then, and I just looked down on them as biggish budget, action-based popcorn. I went to see them and I didn't really give them the chance, but when I've rewatched them, I've actually quite enjoyed them. Yeah,
I can't remember many of them past the first one.
Yeah,
but I think I've seen a few of them.
Yeah, I mean they're fun.
They are what they are, aren't they? They're just easy, shut your brain off, watch zombie monster movie.
And I did like the one they done a few years ago. stuff from Raccoon City, was it something like that?
Oh yeah, I have seen that one.
Yeah,
Enter Raccoon City or something.
That's
like
more horror.
Yeah.
And there was a TV show as well, which really bombed on Netflix. And I remember I watched that week by week, or once a week with my ex, and we both really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But that got slated.
Yeah.
But I find with these video game adaptations that people who are huge on the games, because the films are different, they don't like them. And you watched one last night, I believe.
I did. I watched The Mortuary Assistant, which I think the issue is with video game adaptations to movies is there's so much you can pack into a video game that you have to miss out to cram it down into the movies.
Yeah.
And I think that's where they go wrong, and that's why people kind of get funny with the video game adaptations. But The Mortuary Assistant, that was okay. It was nothing that The Autopsy of Jane Doe didn't do better. Yeah. But for a video game adaptation movie, I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, so watchable.
Yeah, very, very much watchable. Willa Holland is fantastic in it.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. I've liked her since Arrow.
Yeah.
And
Arrow's great.
Yeah,
well. Yeah.
Arrow's great.
I didn't realise she was in it. So
she's the main character.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's on Shudder. Yeah.
That is on Shudder, yes.
Yeah, so that can be viewed. It's quite nice we're sort of just having a chat about this, but to talk about newer films as well. One person who was there, who we didn't meet, but I walked past him.
Very tall man.
Robert Strange, who has been in Doctor Who and loads of things, and basically he's always the guy in the costume, isn't he?
Yeah.
You need a tall fella. I mean, he was in Solo, Penny Dreadful. That's the series I need to watch, actually. Star Wars Rogue One, Rise of Skywalker.
I love Rogue One. I love the fact they've made a whole film on a plot hole.
Yes.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Rings of Power. And most recently, he was in Return to Silent Hill. He played the Red Pyramid, which I think he was doing possibly photos in the costume of that. I'm not sure.
I'm not 100% sure he was.
Or it might be someone walking about dressed
I think they might just handed it to him and he put it on.
Yeah, I mean, and talking about video game adaptations, I was quite looking forward to Return to Silent Hill.
Yeah.
And it got a big cinema release and that, and it got really bad reviews, and I thought it can't be that bad. Yeah. I don't think it was that bad. It wasn't very. It
wasn't very good. But it wasn't as bad as people make out to be. But it wasn't very, very good.
Wasn't great.
It wasn't great.
So let's just talk about the talks as well. There was the Alien talk with Cynthia Scott. Aliens. Cynthia Scott and
Rico Ross
and Carl Toop.
Yeah.
All from Aliens. Now, I'd seen these guys do a talk before at the London Film and Comic Con about 6 months ago. Very entertaining as well.
Yeah, really entertaining. It was nice to hear from someone who played a xenomorph to see what it was like from their perspective, because, as he said, a lot of the time he was hiding in set pieces while they were prepping the other actors. So it was nice to hear the perspective of the monster in the film. You don't tend to get that these days. A lot of it's CGI or prop puppets and stuff, but they had an actual guy in the suit, and they put him in wires and hung him up from the rafters while they were doing different scenes.
And and he seemed to really appreciate it as well, and appreciate people who were there. And while they were all talking, there was someone dressed as a xenomorph going around the crowd. Yeah. And
I'm not sure if they were actually part of the crew or if they were just random people.
I think it's people doing it, but everyone seemed to enjoy it. And Aliens is a great film, and for me, it's as much action and sci-fi film as horror.
Yes.
Which is cool because let's face it, not many actors are just horror actors, and those who fall into it do a lot of other stuff as well. It's like Robert Englund came out of drama, and then he was in V, which is sci-fi, and then but he's still, when he can, he does other stuff as well, which is cool. And we also went to a talk, and you spoke to him more actually. One of a stuntman who was it Resurrection?
Halloween
Resurrection.
Yeah, Brad Lorry.
And he fascinating man, interesting. I really enjoyed his talk. But he was clearly, he said he's not really into horror.
Yeah.
Which was interesting to see. And he was talking about, we got there a little late because we were doing a getting an autograph from me.
Yeah.
And he was saying, I'm sure he said that he had tried stand-up. I heard him say that.
He was a very charismatic, funny man.
And honest as well.
Yeah.
And he was also talking about how he doesn't like CGI special effects and that sort of thing, which...
I'm with him. I'm with him on that. Yeah, I love a practical effect.
I love a practical effect. And my only thing for CGI is if it's done so well that you can't tell it's CGI. And that's like... I think looking back 25 years ago, however long it was, the use of a lot of CGI in Titanic was just little touches and little things like that. I think that's fine.
The guy bouncing off the propeller.
Yes. Yeah. And when they haven't got the budget to do it practically. But now you get big budget movies and it's too CGI. Going back to, I hate to say I love the Star Wars franchise, but the use of CGI in the prequels kind of ruined it for me. And I've gone back and I enjoy the prequels now, but it's kind of like watching a video game.
Yes, at the time it was slated, but looking back now, it's actually like the prequels they're all right.
Yeah, but he was cool, and he did say. So someone asked a question. I was wondering, he only played Michael Myers once, and it was because that movie was
shot in Canada,
and that's where he's from, and that's why. But he said he wasn't that into horror, but when he was asked questions about the franchise and other franchises, he had answers. He knew. Yeah,
he's very knowledgeable of the subject of what he was talking about.
Yeah, and he was. I only spoke to him briefly because at the end of the day, I got an autograph because I've got. I'm a nerd and collect them, and I've only got one Michael Myers, and that was Nick Castle who played him in the first one. And the picture I've got of him is of the film The Last Starfighter because he directed it. Yeah, and I love that film. You're into your sci-fi. It's so good. So he mentioned his top 3 films, and one of them was Cinema Paradiso.
Yes.
And I adore that film. I think if I had a top 10, it would be in it. It's not horror. It's just a really good drama. But for people who love cinema, it's well worth. Well, you've never seen it.
No, I've never seen it, but I'm definitely going to check it out.
Check it out. Yeah. There's an Arrow release of it. It's got an extended cut. Unfortunately for us lazy people, there isn't a dubbed version. It's the original language. But just watch it sober. You'll be right.
Yeah, I can read.
I struggle if I've had a drink. But no, it's really good. The extended version's a bit darker. But I messed up because I still get a bit nervous meeting some people. And I started to say I love Guest House Paradiso. And then I backed up. I love Guest House. Sorry, Cinema Paradiso. Completely different film.
Although Guest House Paradiso is a fantastic film.
I find it really funny, but I do feel with Rick Davidson's stuff, it works better as half an hour.
Yeah.
But there's some really good stuff in that film, and it kind of horror related. Simon Pegg's in it.
Yeah.
An early film for him, and that's one. If you haven't seen that one, there's an Indicator Blu-ray of that, recently released with a fair few extras on it. So there we go. I'm doing all this without notes. I'm a proper nerd, aren't I? I like talking this. So
we're knowledgeable. That's what we are.
But I am flicking through to see who else was there. Because
before we get to the 2 main attractions that we met today.
Yeah, so we will mention, and this is the first time Sam came on this podcast. We done the first of so far only 2 specials, but we're going to do more that we call Childhood Ruined, where we talk about mainly films that have gone into the franchises that have gone into the public domain, and they do fairy tales, children's stories, but horror versions. And one of the not one of the first, but one of the ones to break through is the British low budget Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey.
I believe this was the first of the the public domains to kind of hit the mainstream.
Yeah, that's true. There had been some before.
Yeah, like this is the bigger name kind of one.
And the first of what has become the Poohniverse.
Yes.
And Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and the actor who played Winnie the Pooh was Craig. I've just gone off the internet.
Craig Downsett.
Yeah. And he was there. Very charismatic man.
Very Essex.
Yeah, I won't say the name of our hotel, but the Wi-Fi isn't great. But anyway, that's why we don't do these live. And very Essex, very friendly. He was there chatting away, and he also as well. When you queue to meet people, he would just chat to you if you didn't buy anything.
Yeah,
and didn't. Which quite a few do, to be honest. Yeah. And he had the mask on the table from the movie, and he done a photo shoot in costume.
He did.
And you, sir, dressed up in a onesie of Piglet.
I did.
Which went down very well. I was going to do Eeyore, and I just never got round to it, did I? I never got round to ordering it, and never got round to... but I didn't want to take the limelight away from you.
Yeah. Hearing a grown man chuckle inside a Winnie the Pooh serial killer costume, it was probably one of the highlights of the day.
Yeah, and as we were going into the photo room, the lady on the door said to you, "Are you here for Craig?" And he was like, "Well, what do you think?"
How did you guess?
Yeah, and there was a guy, one guy waiting. We got there really early. He was on towards the end of the day, and we thought we'd chill and have a chat. Cute. And there was one guy in a really good Art the Clown costume, and waiting. And I don't know if you when he took his mask off, he looked at you like a bit jealous. Yeah, like he'd put all this effort in, and you just put a Piglet onesie on it and owned him.
Yes, I looked fantastic in that onesie. Yeah.
So it's a shame he didn't do a talk. I'd say. Not the Terrifier guy, but
well, I would listen to him as well. Though.
Yeah. And
equal opportunities and all that.
But he did, and there was a poster for. He's got a movie. I think he directed it.
Yes, the werewolf one.
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
Yeah, Bigfoot.
Okay.
And I think it is. And he said it's coming out in a few months, so it's not nothing we could put into the childhood ruined episodes, but we could mention it, couldn't we? We could give it a watch and see. Here it is. Bigfoot Primal Fear. Now it's on IMDb, and I don't think he's in it. So I think he did. He directed it and wrote it.
Okay, that's cool.
So that sounds interesting. So he's not in. I didn't dare ask, to be honest, but he's not in Winnie the Pooh 2. So maybe one of the reasons he's not in it is to do this movie.
Maybe, hopefully,
or to I hope he didn't fall out. Well, I don't think he'd have fallen out with them, because when you think about it, he goes round with the mask and still sells it and that sort of thing. He plays Winnie the Pooh in. It says here there's the Winnie the Pooh. You might know about this. The Blood and Honey, the musical.
I did not know there was a musical, but now that you've mentioned it, I want to find this.
And he also plays a soldier in Alien Abduction. There we go. But really nice man. He does quite a few of the Comic Cons. If you're local to us, Norcon in Norwich, he's been at a few times. I've never met him before. Paths hadn't crossed, but really interesting guy. And I think it's nice if you go to these things and the draw are the big names, the Robert Englands, and they do cost a fair bit of money. And personally, I think it's worth it.
Yes.
I love it. But it's also nice to meet, support, talk to the up-and-coming actors and the independent filmmakers, which is something we do at Dead and Subreader as well.
Yes, we do.
And I can enjoy a big-budget film as much as a low-budget one, much like I was saying with Resident Evil. I try to watch everything with an open mind nowadays. I'm in my 40s now. When I was younger, I even went through a period. I didn't study film properly, but I'd done a BTEC in media, and there was film studies in it. BTEC's like A-levels for the younger ones of you. Do they still do A-levels? Probably.
Yeah, I think
I
don't know. I'm old as well, mate.
And I just when I started watching stuff like Cinema Paradiso and stuff like that, and I kind of got a bit snobby about things. But, in my spare time or after a few beers, I'd still stick on a Carry On film, a Freddy film, a Police Academy film, a Friday the 13th film, and enjoy it. And everything can be enjoyed different. And that's kind of why we do these podcasts, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you mainly talk about franchises and stuff, which towards the end of this, we're going to mention a newer film as well that is out now at cinemas. But should we talk about, is it time to talk about the two bigger names?
I think it is time we talk about the really big names that we've met.
Yeah, so shall we start? We've mentioned him briefly, but Kane Hodder.
Kane Hodder, lovely man. Very nice, really nice, friendly bloke.
Really nice, funny. He did threaten to punch me, though.
He did threaten to punch you.
Because you
questioned him.
I didn't question him. I was being a bit silly. Talking about if you haven't got something to sign, you pay your money for the signature, and so I hope I'm not just dumbing it down for people. I generally think there are a lot of people who don't go to these. So you can get a photo, what's on the counter, and they sign it. And there were several, and I was like, I'll have that one. And he went, guess which one it's from? And I went, is it from? I went, it's not from.
You said Jason X, I think.
No, it's not from Takes Manhattan.
Yeah.
And I went, no, it can't be from Jason Goes to Hell. And he went, it is. And I went, no, it's not, is it? And then he threatened to punch me.
Yeah, he said,
for questioning him.
Yeah, if you question me, I'll hit you or something.
Yeah, something like that. And then you said, do it.
Yeah.
And then we had a bit of a chuckle and very friendly, signed the picture and said, see you later, basically, and moved on. And you spoke to him more.
Yeah, I spoke to him about...
I will add, I was in a rush for a photo shoot.
Yeah,
so
I spoke to him more about the Leslie Vernon film and how Jason Goes to Hell is my favourite Friday the 13th film. Purely that's like the first one that I saw, and he replied to that, yeah, it's great, I just wish I was in it more.
Yeah, which is true.
Yeah, and then he went and told me that he had a double knee replacement last year, and in his words, effing sucked.
Yeah, and he was, I wouldn't say hobbling, but walking slowly when he was walking about in between photo shoots and stuff. There was a lot of people for his photo shoot. The busiest there, I'd say, apart from Robert England.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And he had the machete in the picture, which was nice, because sometimes they will charge extra if there's a prop or something. And I didn't know he was going to have that, and he did, and that was cool. Very nice atmosphere, listening to people and talking to people in the queues for these things.
Yeah.
Last year there was a bit of tension because of just that basically I think they'd sold too many tickets for Robert England, and there was a bit of stress, but there was none of that this year.
No.
Robert England was in a different room this year as well, and I'm not sure they got through them all, but I didn't see anyone complain.
No, I didn't see anyone complaining about it.
Yeah,
I did see Kane stick his head round a few times after his photo shoot.
Just
to stick his head in, wind and up, I think, is what he was.
Yeah, I mean, they clearly get on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of banter between the two, and fans will know that when they did finally do Freddy vs Jason, it wasn't Kane Hodder.
Yeah, that's a great shame.
And that I know that annoyed Robert England. Probably not as much as it annoyed
Kane Hodder.
No, I think that was unfair. Obviously, he didn't always play Jason, but when you think of an actor for Jason, you think of Kane Hodder.
Yeah,
it's like there's other actors have played.
Other actors have played Batman.
Yeah. But I was thinking of Peter Sellers in the Pink Panther.
Yeah.
2 or 3 people have played it, but people think that actor.
Superman, Chris Reeve.
Yeah, and he wasn't the first person to play it. Yeah, that's a very good point. Christopher Reeve.
What a man.
Yeah, that documentary about him a few years ago.
Oh, that almost made me cry, that.
Yeah, I won't admit that it made me cry, but it almost made me cry. And
I was cutting onions at the time I was watching it.
Yes. I was cutting kryptonite. But yeah, Kane had a big name, and it was so good to basically for me to finally meet him, because he's been at cons I've been at before many years ago when I was on a micro budget. But as I will keep saying, you don't need
to have a massive budget for it.
And before we talk about the other guest, the big one, what did you think of the stalls and stuff? It was
so good,
like a massive indoor market that only sold horror merch. I was very impressed with the amount of rare DVDs you could buy, models, comic books, posters. They had everything.
Absolutely everything. I end up buying a Funko Pop and a cushion.
Yeah.
I love my Evil Dead cushion.
Yeah, and I even got a little bit of merch from the Monster Squad movie.
You did? You got the Monster Squad...
little pin badge thing. It's cool, and it's nice for these independent traders to have a stall there. One we know, Lee Richmond, who's been on this podcast.
Good old Lee.
Talking about, was it Nightmare on Elm Street 5 or 4?
4 or 5,
I should remember this, shouldn't I? Because I was there.
What?
I was there for the podcast.
Yeah.
He's a good bloke. He's a good horror novelist as well, and selling merch and stuff, some of which him and his wife make. And he's coming back. He's going to come back and do an episode at some point comparing the original and the remake of The Hills Have Eyes.
Great films.
I will let you in on this. I'm currently doing the Stephen King adaptations. This year I'm going to be doing that because there's a lot of them. And you were the first one I recorded, but the second episode we put out on Finner. I'm thinking of doing episodes on Wes Craven.
Ooh.
I think
there's a few.
There's enough. There's obviously I've done Nightmare on Elm Street already, so we don't really need to do them. But there's so much other stuff. I've not done any of the Screams. Swamp Thing I love. One I've mentioned a lot to you before, Deadly Friend.
Yeah.
I don't think you've seen that.
I don't think I've seen.
With Kirsty Swanson, who was Buffy.
You saw her in a film as well?
We've just been to see Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which You'd never seen.
I've never seen it. No.
Did you enjoy it?
It was okay. It was okay.
280's too young.
Yeah, it's not normally my kind of thing.
It's too young. That film does remind me, because of the era, and it's in high school, of old Freddy films. I've got to be honest.
Yeah.
Scenes in School has really got the look of those movies. And yeah, Kirsty Swanson's in it, who went on to be Buffy, went on to be she's in Deadly Friend, and went on to be a bit of a idiot in interviews. But anyway, big draw, added later. Really excited when they added, only a month or so, a couple of months ago they added.
If that, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, Linda Blair, from most well known for Repossessed.
Yes.
But was also in The Exorcist.
And don't forget the S Club 7 TV series.
Yeah, I didn't know that until LA 7, it said it was called. But yeah, and this is one of, she's done a few Comic-Cons, but none I've been at over the years. And her career, we looked it up and she's 67.
Yes.
So she'd have been 13 in The Exorcist, probably 12 when they filmed it.
About that, yeah.
So, she's been basically famous all her life. She's had a few issues personally and never really been able to shake being Regan in The Exorcist. But she was here. She was talking about charity it's animal rescue charity in America for dogs.
Yeah, no breed is born bad.
Yeah, so that's a really good cause. I'm just going to find out the actual name of it for people.
I think it's the Linda Blair Foundation.
Linda Blair Heart. Where are we? I took a photo of it and now I've lost it. Here we go. Linda Blair. It says Linda Blair Rescue World Heart, one word, Foundation.
Yeah.
And I think it's lindablairfoundation.org, I believe.
Yes, it is.
So you can that was on www.lindablairworldheart.org, and you can donate and stuff on there. And I think some of the money from her autographs and photos would go into that. And but that was it's good that she's using. I don't think she hates The Exorcist or anything, but she's probably just a bit sick of it. So, but she knows she's a draw and she's coming there for a good cause. And she was met for a photo first, very friendly, just cheery for the picture. Then when we went and got the autograph, she was chatty.
Yeah, very nice,
very friendly,
very friendly lady.
Yeah, but her PR person did come round with flyers that they run out of and asked us to have a look at. So literally, there was a list of other movies she'd been in. And I think that's her way of saying, look.
I mean, other stuff as well.
Yeah, I mean, and she has been. I mentioned Repossessed. I know that's a spoof of The Exorcist. It's a real good one. If you've not seen that, Leslie Nielsen.
That is fantastic.
It's really funny.
It's along the same lines as Airplane, and
it's
scary. It was Scary Movie before Scary Movie.
Yeah, and I was telling her that because when I was a kid, The Exorcist was banned. I overheard an expert on The Exorcist in the queue saying about how he saw it for the first time when it was unbanned in '92, even though he's very wrong. It was '99. When that came out again. That's just want to get that little dig if he's listening. But I saw Repossessed a long time before I saw The Exorcist, and still found it really funny. And I think The Exorcist, even if you haven't seen it, you know those iconic scenes.
Yeah.
And it was that actually when I was a kid, I liked horror a lot, but I was more into comedy, and it was that spoof that really made me want to watch The Exorcist.
Jesse Ventura's best film.
Jesse Ventura's yes. Yeah, there's a lot of cameos in that film as well, and I'm trying to think, but it's been a long time since I've seen it. So, and she did say she thinks it might be getting a Blu-ray release, which would be cool.
I would love that.
I've got a copy of it on American DVD in a pack of 4 films. There's when you have 2 films on each disc, you turn it over.
Yeah. Oh,
and I'm so worried I'll scratch it or something, and the quality isn't great. But did you watch that on TV then?
I watched it on Channel 4 one night.
Yeah.
Randomly.
It was on telly a lot when I was younger. And it's a 15, and it is quite rude.
Yeah.
But then a lot of it isn't rude. It's just silly.
Yeah.
Which I really like. And I like that sort of comedy, and I think it's great that last year there was a new Naked Gun, and there was a same sort of thing but British spoof and Downton Abbey called Farkham Hall.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
If you like Naked Gun, it's really funny. I thought it was really funny anyway. So yeah, Linda Blair was a pleasure. It was great. She done, she's very professional, but very. She was late for a photo shoot.
But that was for a good reason, apparently. She had
Yeah.
some people in her line for an autograph. There was only 3 or 4 people left, I heard them say.
Yeah, they didn't want to turn people away.
Yeah, they didn't want to turn them away, so she said she'll rush through them. She's only about 10, 15 minutes late for her photo
and
shoot.
I think that they'd have been told there's enough time to be able to do that. And that's really good, because you can imagine queuing for such a long time, and then it's happened. It has happened to me in the past. You queue for that long, then they've got to go for a photo shoot, and I've just waited for an hour.
Yeah.
But today, we didn't do any of that. We were just, it was nice because we'd done the 2 days and done all the queuing and stuff the first day, and then the second day, chilling around the stalls. There's photo ops you can do. We got our heads through a door for a Shining photo.
Yeah, we did.
There's a green screen.
Yeah, the green screen.
Which I'll put the photo up. Oh,
no, we were actually at Camp Crystal Lake today. Yeah.
And there's that. Then that's all free. And there was a mock-up Blockbuster.
Yeah.
There was a mock-up Gremlins bar.
Yeah, there was mock-up Reagan's bed.
Oh yeah, Reagan's bed they had that last year as well.
They did.
And just enough to do. I'd say it's not like you could do it all in one day if you rushed everything. But I enjoyed doing the 2 days of this because firstly we live 2 hours away, so there's not 4 hours of travelling each time. But then you can just take your time with it, and the ticket prices, I think offhand, it's 40 quid for 2 days.
I think it's 40 or 50, something like that.
And it's not the cheapest thing in the world, but you get that money's worth.
Oh, 100% get the money's worth.
When you think of tickets to go and see a stand-up comedian or one of these evenings with, which are an hour and a half and probably 50 quid, you get loads of these shorter in that time. You could just sit there all day and watch them. And if you're into the cosplay, there's cosplay competitions. You should have entered just as...
I should have just walked on stage as Piglet. I would not have won against the little girl, though.
No.
There was a little girl.
Oh, yeah. Little Reagan.
Yeah,
that was mental. And I love all this because there's adults like ourselves going, they were old enough to watch that film. How could they watch that? Me watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre in primary school. Come on. I done all right.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think the best bit was when I was in line for the Linda Blair photo. It was kind of snaked around the room, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So at one point I was standing waiting, and behind me was this lady and her son, and then in the line kind of bit next to us was the little Reagan girl and her family, and this woman was like, oh my god, that's fantastic, can I take a photo please? She goes, yeah, sure. And instantly this kid snapped into mode and eyes down, and the woman was like, oh god.
Maybe she was really possessed.
Maybe
she could be repossessed.
Oh.
I keep thinking of the theme tune to Repossessed, which I'm not going to sing. Really enjoyable few days. If you're considering going to one of these, look on the website. You can see all the pictures and stuff. I think it's worth it if you're a big fan. It's like anything. If you're not a big fan. If you're not a fan of horror, sci-fi and stuff, you won't be listening to this in the first place. So worth it. I think everyone came away fairly happy.
I think so. I didn't hear any complaining.
No. Staff were all good. I mean, we got there right early, and there's a bit of confusion over day passes, and that was but the staff were all on it, and it was ironed out and it was sorted, and everyone was very polite. Also, I liked that this was at a sports centre. It was at the K2 it was called, wasn't it? But all the staff seemed to really get on and know each other, and were just having fun with it, which was added to the nice atmosphere.
It was just overall friendly and made the day better, really.
Apart from the one photographer.
But
he might have had a bad day. He might have lost a relative earlier in the day.
He might have done.
You don't know. Might have sat on a pineapple. But great. So just quickly mention, as we talk about films and franchises, no notes, nothing prepared, because I just thought about this before we start recording. We both a couple of weeks ago went to see Ready or Not 2. Ready or Not 2, Here I Come.
Yeah.
Which I loved the first movie.
Yeah.
Samantha Weaving, I think, is one of the best actresses out there who mainly focuses on horror at the moment.
She's up there on the top screen queens at the moment.
Yeah, she's there. Yeah, really good. Thoughts?
I really enjoyed it. Elijah Wood was fantastic in it. Absolutely fantastic in that film.
And there's a small but crucial role played by David Cronenberg. Now, if you've seen the first one, Samantha Weaving is the bride, and basically a game of
hide and
seek to the death. She gets out, she survives, and it ends. She's covered in blood. She's out. She's killed them all. At the end. This movie basically, don't want to spoil the plot because it's showing at cinemas at the moment. Same night, carries on,
picks up right after the first.
But there's not just one family after. There's four
of them.
Four, and loads of different well-known actors, actresses in it. Sarah Michelle Gellar is one of them, and thrown into the mix is her strange sister, played by
Catherine Newton.
Catherine Newton, who's another one who's been in so many several good horror films. Yeah.
Lisa Frankenstein.
I loved Lisa Frankenstein. That was brilliant. Directed by Zelda Williams, Robin Williams' daughter, and the writer of Jennifer's Body. She was in the massively underrated Freaky with Vince Vaughn.
I like that twist of that Freaky Friday.
If you're Freaky Friday with basically a Jason type serial killer, and it's Vince Vaughn, and Vince Vaughn. He usually is I'm a bit tired, sarcastic, but because of the body swap with a teenage girl, he gets to Rob Schneider it in The Hot Chick. But,
he does, but better,
but funny, yeah.
She was also in Abigail.
Abigail, and that's from the same writer director team who done Ready or Not.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed Abigail.
So did I. A lot of the cast from that is in it as well.
So this is it's an action horror comedy, really.
Yeah.
Lots going on, lots of fun characters. It's violent, but also light-hearted.
Yeah. Very, very gory.
Very gory indeed, and it's great to see a film like this in the cinema. And I thoroughly recommend it. Solid 4 out of 5 for me. I
think I gave it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
3.5, 4 out of 5.
It's a fun film. Also. Well, don't go too much because I've not even seen it yet. But you went to see, what was it?
They Will Kill You.
They Will Kill You, which is I've read a few things about they shouldn't have been released at the same time because they're quite alike.
They are very much of the same ilk.
Yeah.
Very much of the same kind of format, but this one's more, I'd say, more martial arty.
Okay, so more action.
More action and less of a comedy, more action to it, but it is very distinctly a comedy kind of one as well.
Okay, so it's kind of a mixture between that and say John Wick.
Okay. But again, that's got a fantastic cast as well, like Heather Graham, Tom Felton. I can't remember the lead actress name.
The lead actress was the one who
played Domino in
Deadpool 2, and she was in The Joker as well.
Yeah,
she's a really good actress. I can't remember her name. But I'm going to check that out, and that's getting fairly good reviews as well.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I did, and the soundtrack is phenomenal.
Okay.
Really good soundtrack to it.
I'll get on that soon. We'll probably wrap it up. But we're just throwing this out as a special, just something different for the podcast. Do follow on the socials, and whatever you're listening to on, give us a high rating, share it. That helps helps spread the word. Obviously, just do this as a hobby anyway. It's a bit of fun, but it's nice to talk to people, comment and stuff, and check out Hope Ahead. Which is Sam's band. I'll link the things.
We're Hope Ahead UK on all socials.
Yeah, so do it. And I'll be releasing more Stephen King episodes. That's what's coming up. And there's I'm getting through the Tomie Japanese J-horror franchise with Adam Wybrain as well. So thank you all for listening, and keep supporting the horror and or sci-fi. We're going to do more sci-fi. I am. Thank you, Sam.
No worries.
Hi, I'm Jem.
And I'm Victoria.
And we are childhood best friends with a true crime podcast called
The Criminal Crack. During each episode, one of us presents a true crime case to the other.
And the listener has no idea what the case will be.
So every reaction, question and twisted theory you hear is genuine and off the cuff.
So join us fortnightly on the platform of your choice.
And find us on Facebook, Instagram and TikTok by searching @The Criminal Crack.
Bye.
Keep on trucking.